How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews, back with yet another review. A little bit of on vacation goodness, hopeful goodness, in the form of Kelly Green Brewing. It is their Ballard. Yeah, this is I'm old, so I need to take these off to read. Mixed fermentation Saison, brewed with wheat and aged hops. Gotta love that. Fermented and aged in wine barrels with our house culture. Re-fermented with Michigan-grown tart cherries. So it's their version of a creek, it looks like. It's not my first Kelly Green review. I've done, I believe it was 3 of their beers previously. They actually sent me 3 bottles a while ago, or Ed, I should say, from Kelly Green. He's like their barrel program guy. Sellerman sent me a couple bottles, and I really dug them. They were quite fun. It's been about a year or so since I've had anything from them, and it just so happens that I'm on vacation and are doing a cam release with a local brewery like 8 minutes away from where I'm staying, called Heavy Reel. It's kind of like it's a hazy IPA actually, but it's like a pizza, foodie beer. It's like a pizza spiced kind of beer, but it was kind of weird because I was like, Ed's not going to be there, so it's a bummer I'm not going to be him, but Jeff, the owner of Kelly Green, I've actually never even spoken with him, but he's going to be there, so hopefully I get to meet him. I'm going to actually interview Heavy Reel. I was there for my podcast. Anyway, you guys are going to see this after all that happens. Maybe you won't. Maybe I'll post this in the morning if I'm feeling frisky. I think I might do that. You know what? Let's do that. Let's post it in the morning. So today, if you guys are around, 3 o'clock, come to Heavy Reel. I'll be there. And what's happening at 3 o'clock on the, what is it going to be, the 1st of June? That would be Champions League football. As far as I call it, Champions League soccer. I like to say soccer because I'm not from England, so I don't say football. Why am I bringing up soccer? 1, I'll bring up anything I want to fucking bring up. 2, note. When people send me beer, they'll send me notes. More times than not, when someone sends me a note, it is, more often than not, it actually comes from a viewer, but not from a brewer. But Ed was very, very nice to send me this note right here, which is saying he hopes I enjoy Tottenham winning the Champions League tomorrow. That's red hot garbage. That can go fucking fuck itself. And it makes me super fucking giddy that he sent this off to me. I love shit talking. I love old school male-based shit talking. So this is fantastic. I'm an Arsenal fan. For those that don't know, Arsenal and Tottenham is kind of like the it's like the Red Sox and Yankees, but way more. Imagine if Red Sox Stadium was like a mile away from Yankee Stadium and people hated each other even more. So Tottenham has been fucking hot garbage for forever, and the past couple of years they've had okay seasons, but they haven't won shit. And Arsenal has been on a downslope, even though they've actually won shit. Well, Tottenham hasn't won anything at all. And they are in the Champions League final versus Liverpool. So I'm going to go watch this tomorrow. I'm going to chug some beers, hang out, and watch this tomorrow. And, yeah, I'm going to make a prediction about this. You're going to have to wait till the end of the beer review. We're going to talk about predictions. Because we're going to talk about the beer. Not to bogart all of Kelly Green's time. But, hey. I get to do whatever the hell I want in my beer reviews, so here we go. Let's dive into this. So you're talking about a mixed culture Saison, you're talking about wine barrels, you're talking about cherries. Like I said, it's a creek-ish beer, and there's wine involved. So we expect actually a decent amount of dryness, a decent amount of tartness from this, because you can get that both from the wine. The wine is just punching me in the face already. You can get that from the wine. You'd also get that from the cherries. Could be a big, huge kind of rich kind of Merlot vinous kind of thing going on, because you get that combination of the cherries in conjunction with the actual wine itself. We'll see what's what, but if you look at that, there wasn't much head to begin with. My yammering mouth didn't pick it up quick enough, but it was a super quick head, as you would expect off of a kind of wine barrel aged kind of mixed culture Saison. And what you're left with is just, what does that look like? Kind of like what's that, cranberry juice. It kind of looks like that to a T. So give it a little bit of swirl. I don't have my table. Here, this sucks for you guys. Usually what I do is I put it down on the table and give it the old swirl because it keeps me from smelling shit, but it probably sucks on video and actual audio. So doing the old swirl, you can see it get a little bit of more head going on right now. So let's get a sniffy poo. Yeah, it's weird. It's exactly where I thought it would go because it smells like Saison. There's not a huge amount of like, spiciness or pepperiness, even though there is a little bit there. Those aged hops are really coming through. There's like this dirty, funky thing going on with the hops, so it's spicy, herbal, but there's like this, I don't want to say musty, but this oldness to it. If you've drank old hopped beers before, you know what I'm talking about, in combination with the way that kind of combination of that wine barrel and those cherries come off. It comes off very much like a fresh, legit cherry. There's not like a artificial sweetness to it. There's not like this kind of candied thing that people think about when they think about cherry. They think about cherry flavoring. Suppose cherries have a bit more kind of tart and acidic to me. That's the way that's coming off, but it's just amplified by the way that kind of wine barrel comes off. I don't think they don't say what kind of wine barrel it is. I don't think it's a dark red wine barrel. I think it's more kind of a lighter wine. Maybe not clear on white, but a lighterish wine. But there's a nice fruit component, so you get this big pop of this cherry on there, but you also get this big kind of rich kind of vinous grapiness that's somewhere between a dark and a light grape. That's your cherry kind of lending to that. And there's just a soft hoppy spiciness to it. There's a fruit, almost subtle jamminess to it too. With a combination of all that, you get the soft jamminess, and then there's a subtle kind of maybe placebo effect going on. A little bit of cranberry. I feel like I'm getting cranberry in here. It's kind of weird, but yeah. Let's actually dive in. Cheers. Ooh. That's crazy cherry forward. Man, that's cherry forward. I like this. I like this specifically for how cherry forward it is. It's almost, I can see some people thinking is a little bit too aggressive with how cherry it gets, but it works for me. I'm one of those people. I shouldn't say one of those people. I think a lot of people like this. I like some flavors organic, and I like some flavors artificial. I actually love peaches, hate peach flavored stuff. I love bananas, don't really like banana flavored stuff. I mean, hefts and stuff like that I can work with. Oranges, take it either. Anyway, get it. But cherries, I actually don't like cherries all that much, but I love cherry flavored stuff. The more artificial you can get, actually, I kind of like it. I'm going to be one of those people that actually like that shit. This gives me such an explosive amount of cherry that it kind of reminds me of artificial cherry flavoring. It's not there. It doesn't get artificial anyway, in any form or any fashion. But it's so vibrant, so explosive, so expressive. It just tickles me pink. It's almost like the cherries are like acidic by themselves, and it gives you this pop of acidity just from the cherry flesh or the cherry must or whatever they used actually in the barrel. Here's the funny part. I think it's that sweet. I think you get a decent amount of vanilla from the barrel. I think you get a decent amount of oak from it that dries it out. I think you get a decent amount of bittering and muskiness and dirtiness from those old school hops. And I think they're all absolutely 100% needed to be that impactful to temper how large this cherry impact is. Because without any of that, I think this cherry just goes way overboard, becomes way too crazy, and just is way one-sided. And that's the funny part, because it is that big. The cherry is that huge, that gigantic. But the other pieces are big enough to kind of keep it in check and make it a really fun fucking beer. This is, literally, I've talked about this several times with a bunch of different beers. I talk about, an Americanized Pilsner, Americanized Kolsch, Americanized lagers in general. Take this beer from old school Europe and make it an American version of it. This is an American version of a creek. It just how it comes and how it expresses itself and how forward, how crank to 11, how Spinal Tap this beer is with how the cherries work. There's no mistaking that it's made by an American brewery, and that's not a negative thing. Sometimes hair on fire is good, and I feel like this brings a subtle touch of hair on fire to a style that can be a little bit more kind of highbrow, pinky raised kind of, ostentatious kind of style. But I dig the way this cherry comes off. How many times can I say cherry in a review? We're going to find out. That's what we're going to do. But yeah, I dig it. Anyway, Yeah, vanilla is actually quite huge. Again, cherry tempers a bit of that. I mean, it's a beer. It's a Saison. It's hard to kind of dig to the bits and pieces of it because of how vibrant that fruit is. But it's definitely in there. There's a soft acidity to it, nothing too crazy, but you actually get this little bit of an extra acidity from the cherries themselves. This is a fun beer. I dig it. I like it. It's probably one of my more favorite cherry forward, non candied American beers, for the lack of a better term, that I've had in quite some time. Really good stuff. This is really fun, and it's not safe. Maybe that's the thing I should be focusing on. Is that a lot of people do, and I said it, do these beers, and they end up making them and make them quite nice, but they end up kind of let them be a little bit too safe. This one does not kind of rest on its laurels. It's not safe, and it just gets so bonkers crazy with that cherry. I dig it. So yeah, I think that's all I got, man. Cherries, really nice old aged hoppiness. Wine barrel is perfect for how much cherry forwardness and what it needs to do with the beer in order to bring the beer home. And yeah, the vanilla from the barrel, everything about it, I dig it. Is it one of the better fruited Saison that I've had as of late? Might be number one, actually. I've had some really good ones, and there might be ones that actually eke this out because, the recent memory is king when it comes to these things. But let's put it this way, it's definitely leaning towards the top. Value and availability, it was sent to me. That happens. Sometimes I'm lucky like that, but I don't think it's probably too crazy. Figure that out pretty easily, and leave you with, if you like what we like this, if you like creeks and you want a little bit of volume in your life, or you want an Americanized version of a style, because you've always felt a little bit of, a little bit of safety when it comes to a lot of traditional breweries. It's tasty. It's delicious. I love it. Scores. That's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about scores. So, Tottenham's playing Liverpool tomorrow, or should I say, in a couple of hours. I'll probably post this around, before noon, right around noon before. And they're fucking lucky, man. They get there, They just are. That's plain brass tacks. No fucking around. They're just lucky in general to get there. And Liverpool is, they're having a fucking dream season. Sure, they didn't win the Premier League, so you could say they kind of fell short, but, they finished several, was it almost 20 points ahead of everybody else or something like that? I forget what the final points tally was. So, you look at an underdog like that, and you could be like, yeah, man, maybe Tottenham can do it. But Tottenham's pieces of shit and they're hot garbage, so that's definitely not going to happen. So, what's going to happen? What's going to happen in today's game? Not match, game, because I live in the United States. I think Tottenham's going to score first. And I think it's going to be 1-0 for a decent amount of time. Maybe even after 45 minutes. And then I think they're going to end up losing 4-1. So my prediction for today's Champions League final in 2019 between Liverpool and Tottenham is Liverpool 4, Tottenham 1. We'll see what happens. I have actually one more bottle of these. Not of this beer, but I have one more bottle that Kelly Green sent me, or Ed sent me. And I'm going to pop it after the Champions League final. Either I'm going to eat that crow, or I'm going to fucking be so fucking disgustingly pleased with myself that they lost. It's going to be horrible. It's going to be almost... YouTube will probably take it down because it's going to be that fucking pornographic. So either I'm going to be humble pie, eat crow man, or I'm going to just fucking wax poetic about it. And just smirk. Maybe I'll just crack the beer open and just drink it with a smirk on my face for like fucking 5 hours and film that and put it up on the YouTubes. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. It's way too long and it had more shit going on it than typically does. Hopefully you guys enjoy a great day, great Champions League day. It's probably one of my favorite sporting events of the year. If you're in Jersey and you're around, come down to Heavy Rail. Come down at 3 o'clock. I'll be there. Chug some beers with me. And hopefully you guys are drinking something delicious right now. We'll see you next time. Cheers.